The grid for the second race of the day. Gordon Shedden on pole position, but now with lots of ballast on board. Turkington second. Giovanardi starts from third in the Vauxhall, and then series leader Matt Neal starts fourth on the grid. Fifth is Tom Chilton, sixth is Gavin Smith, then it's Jason Plato, he starts seventh. Eighth position for Mike Jordan. Ninth on the grid, it's Rob Collard, and the top 10 rounded out by James Kay. Race 2 of the day here at Donington Park, all set to go. Gordon Shedden is going to take it away from pole position if he gets a clean start. Watch for Turkington and for Giovanardi as well. Gordon Shedden makes a very good getaway there in the Team Alfred's car. Look at Giovanardi on the grass, trying to squeeze into second place, and Plato also on the grass. I know it's been dry recently, but that's taking it to the limit. Giovanardi coming into second, Turkington being squeezed out, and I think Chilton coming through there as well. Turkington right out on the grass there. He's dropped to third, and Chilton trying to force his way through.
Yeah, Matt Neal getting boxed in there, but great start by some big load of dust at the back, but great start by Giovanardi, and look at that, Chilton on the... Will he stop the car? He won't stop it.
No, Chilton looks so Pinkney in the background, look.
Yeah, and one of the Seats as well, that's kept going.
Yeah, I think it was Turner probably, but I'm not 100% sure. But what drama, that's all at the old hairpin.
Yeah, that was the result of coming down through the Craner curves with too much speed, and Chilton just couldn't stop the car. Look at Giovanardi though, he's the master of these first, and there's instant further back with Martin Bell spinning on the exit of McLean's.
The battle for the lead side by side, Giovanardi on the inside for the Vauxhall. Gordon Shedden on the outside.
Safety car standing by though, so he needs to get in front before they get to the hairpin, the chicane. He's definitely done it.
Yeah, he's down the inside, and as long as he's in front here as they come out of this corner, he'll be in the lead when the safety car picks them up. Safety car has just accelerated down the line, and he's ahead.
A little contact puts him on the grass, and then he cannot stop the car. And he's lucky not to take the RAC car out as well, but there's no way he can stop. Pinkney goes off separately.
On board Jordan. This was what happened to Pinkney. Pinkney was ahead. Oh, he got on the grass by himself, did Pinkney?
Oh, that was difficult. That was dangerous.
This is the view from on board Colin Turkington of the same incident.
Yeah, this is a view. He's in third place and coming round the out. That was the little touch as you saw the car wiggle, and then Chilton flies straight past. Chilton had just touched him at the exit of the Craners, and that's what made him wiggle. And of course, then Chilton slid across the front of him. Turkington was out on the dirt and lost all those places. He's down in 12th place at the end of the lap.
Across the line they go, green flag waves, and we're racing Giovanardi from Shedden, Matt Neal, and then it's Rob Collard, Jason Plato, Mike Jordan, who's chased by Jason Hughes, and then Gavin Smith. And Giovanardi makes it cleanly into the first corner, nice smooth line, and he will try and open up an advantage here. Here comes an attack from Shedden on Giovanardi. Well, he caught him by surprise and went straight through. Great move by Gordon Shedden.
Well, that was incredible. I watched that move and convinced that Shedden was not going to stop the car and was going to have to straight line the chicane, but he stopped it, hooked up the second apex, and that was beautiful. It made Giovanardi look like he was braking way too early.
Yeah, amazing stuff from Gordon Shedden, and now Matt Neal will be attacking as well, although look at this, Collard has got past Matt Neal, or has he? They're side by side down through the Craners. You can't get two cars easily here. They make contact. Collard's on the grass. He's off Matt Neal.
Plato's hit Neal.
Matt Neal's off as well. Collard's off. Oh,
well, that was a near identical repeat of the Chilton-Turkington tap in the first lap of the first race. You just can't get a wheel on the dirt in that area. And Plato dives straight in there as well. Let's see what happens. Side by side, they need to give each other room. They do through this first part. Matt Neal's as far inside as he can go, but that little tap puts Collard out. They obviously slow down, and Plato probably without any chance to avoid them.
No, Plato you're riding with into the gravel trap. Not much he could do about that. And I think we're going to see the safety car on track. Another look at it here.
Here we go.
Did Matt Neal bounce it on a little bit on the curve? It looked to me as
I mean, Matt Neal tried to actually hold the car onto the inside over the curves, and that probably just flipped the car out. And Plato was totally innocent in that one. He really, nothing he could do.
No, so Jason trudges through the gravel out of race 2 here at Donington Park. Can't quite believe what's going on. And safety car on track for the second time.
Did Matt Neal get going again? And where is he going to be on the...
Yeah, he's 8th.
He is still going, he's 8th.
Right, this is Ben calling Mike. Mike, you're in the middle of everything, but so far you're managing to avoid it all. How are you doing that?
It's like wacky races out here. You know, old Dick Dastardly was at it in front of me again, but no, Matt and Rob Collard got together and crane, you know, one of the few benefits of age, at the top of the crane, is I thought to myself, if I could dank out the crossbar, because this could go horribly wrong. And sure enough, it did.
The yellow flags there, they're going to display the yellow flags down at the old hairpin for the remainder of the race. Because there are two stranded cars there in a dangerous place, they're going to keep the yellow flags out for the whole rest of the race, which means that that section coming into the old hairpin down the bottom of the crane of curves is now a no overtaking section.
It's probably just as well, judging by what we've seen in the last. Here we go, restart time for the third time, if you like, and it's Shedden under pressure. They're all very, very close here, and you see Owen Murray being careful, trying not to overtake before they got to the line, because he had got past Mike Jordan for a moment. Now they're all spreading out, and now Shedden, Giovanardi and Gavin Smith battling hard here as they come through Redgate. Then it's Owen Murray, then it's Mike Jordan. No, Mike Jordan just ahead of Murray, and then it's yellow flag.
They're side by side, so I mean, whoever's in front, Giovanardi should concede, he does. Whoever's in front when he gets to the yellow flag, it stays in front.
So that's what they've done, but somebody else has gone off, I think. Oh no, it's Darren Turner and Colin Turkington. Turkington under yellows there at the old hairpin. Something has happened between those two, and Turkington's having a real nightmare of a race here, desperate to pick up points on Matt Neal. This was the replay of that restart. Let's see, this was on board Turkington. Let's see what happened to Turkington. He was passed by Kay as before, that was through the craners before they got to the yellow flag period. Oh, and that's where it all looked like somebody dived down the inside.
Well, it looked like it. Didn't look like there was really any room, but something happened. Well, let's see in the background. Oh, it's one of the, no, I'll tell you what, it was the Seat actually spinning already. Yeah. Turner was already spinning and just arrived into the side of him.
Look at Mike Jordan, he's definitely closing. We're on board here with Mike Jordan as he heads up towards the left-hander and then the right-hander at McLean's, and Giovanardi will have to watch himself here, and he's got a bit wide. Jordan touches, just makes a little bit of contact, but they both get away with it. This is the race for the final podium spot.
Well, this is interesting. Giovanardi's really struggling on the brakes, isn't he? We saw on that first lap, and Mike Jordan's trying to get the overlap. He's done it. Mike Jordan's got the overlap, and we know Giovanardi's vulnerable on the brakes. He's got 27 kilos of weight on from finishing third. He's not as good on the brakes, and Mike Jordan must go through here.
Oh,
Giovanardi, no turn in, no! Yeah, good job, go on, keep it going, Mike. Now, defend the inside, but Giovanardi...
Yeah, I think it's bent the car, though. The car may be damaged as a result of that contact, I'm not sure. Here comes Giovanardi back down the outside. I'm not sure whether the car wasn't damaged as a result of that.
Yeah, but is Jordan there? Yes, he is. Good boy.
That
bumper's hanging off precariously now, isn't he? But Giovanardi, with the extra weight that he's got on now, he struggled at the end of that first lap of the first start when Shedden just breezed past him, and he still looks vulnerable on the brakes now. So it clearly shows how the weight affects him. Look at this, Matt Neal's favourite place to overtake, up into McLean's. Real good, clean pass. Owen Murray gave him room as well, which was good driving.
Matt Neal is so good at that. He did it on Ivan Muller last year to take the win in the first race, and Ivan was kicking himself afterwards for leaving the door open, but Matt has got it to perfection. He just judges it so well, and that has put him up now into 5th place. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, just keeps the power on late. As soon as he sees the brake lights come on Murray's car, he dives up the inside, and it's a clean pass.
We're on to the final lap now. Fabrizio Giovanardi in 4th place, definitely under pressure from Matt Neal behind.
Yeah, how often have we seen these two sort of end up nose to tail on the last lap? And Matt Neal's definitely caught Giovanardi up over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, he has, and this is how they were going into the end of the first race here today. Owen Murray there with them as well, so there's some
That's
excitement.
Team Quest, they're looking absolutely delighted. They're going to get a great result with 6th place, but I do fancy Matt Neal. Maybe, has he got a good run here? No, he's not close enough to Giovanardi. I thought he might be lining him up into McLean's, his favourite place, but I don't think he's close enough.
Don't think he is, and certainly for Gordon Shedden, things are looking pretty safe and secure here. And for Team Halfords, what a remarkable season this is turning into. An absolutely faultless performance from Gordon Shedden in this race. And, you know, with this, if he carries on where he is, it'll be his 4th win of the season. Matt Neal has already won 5 races this year, and it'll take Team Halfords onto 10 victories in the championship. Coming into the last corner, look in the background, Matt Neal might make the lunge, but no, I don't think he will. It's Shedden who takes the win. 2nd place goes to Gavin Smith, and a fine 3rd place goes to Mike Jordan. So So Gordon Shedden makes it 2 out of 2 here at Donington. Second place, his best result of the season for Gavin Smith. Third for Mike Jordan, and fourth place for Fabrizio Giovanardi. Fifth place for Matt Neal. He did survive to score useful points. Sixth, Owen Murray, excellent performance. Seventh, James Kay, ahead of Colin Turkington, Darren Turner and Adam Jones in 10th.
Thanks, Vicky. So it's Darren Turner on pole position for Sayat, the new boy for Sayat. Let's see what he can do from the front row. Colin Turkington has a great chance to catch up some points on Matt Neal in the battle for the championship. James Kay starts on the second row of the grid, but watch out for Owen Murray. He's been pretty impressive in the Alfa Romeo 156. Series leader Matt Neal starts on the third row of the grid, but Fabrizio Giovanardi is desperate for another good result for Vauxhall. Mike Jordan has gained many places already today. He's got to do it from 7th on the grid this time. 8th is Gavin Smith. 9th on the grid, the man that's won both races so far. Lots to do from there. Gordon Shedden. Adam Jones is with him in the Zero competition Lexus. Then it's Mark Smith in the second of the Alfa Romeos. He's alongside Martin Bell in the rear-wheel drive BMW. Rob Collard's going to try and work his way forward from 13th. Richard Marsh is alongside him, making his return to British Touring Cars this weekend. Then it's Jason Hughes and Jason Plato. Plato starts all the way back in 16th. Tom Chilton starts 17th. And David Pinkney starts from 18th and last.
We're all set to go then for round 18 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship here at Donington Park. The cars have already completed their green flag lap. Looks as though all those damaged and bent motor cars from race number 2 have been pretty much repaired and are ready to start. But it's new boy Darren Turner who starts from pole position, the reverse grid. He finished 9th in that first race. Now he's on pole. Let's see what he can do from there. But watch also for Colin Turkington in the orange car, desperate for points to close up that championship advantage that Matt Neal has. And Matt Neal is starting from a threatening 5th place. So everybody just moving into position. I think we're nearly ready. Watch out for the lights coming on. Is Darren Turner going to make a good start? Front wheel drive? No, it's a bad start from Turner. Turkington makes a brilliant getaway. Oh, we've got an accident. Plato is hit. Collard goes off in the wall. We've got an accident straight off the line.
Well, that follows the pause at the theme of the day, doesn't it? There's a car stranded in the... That's Jason Hughes. There's definitely going to be a safety car because they won't get that car moved before the end of this lap. But these guys don't know it. They're still racing. Matt Neal threw into second place.
Matt Neal up into second, but still battling with Darren Turner. Turner's trying to try and go around the outside. Fabrizio Giovanardi's tucked in behind. Owen Murray is still well up. He's had a good start in this race. And we think it could well red flag this race as a result of that accident at the start line.
Yeah, they're slowing down already. They're already slowing down. They've seen the red flag. That means instantaneously to slow down. There's no racing back to the flag for a safety car now. This is going to be a full restart. We need to see what happened, obviously, but somewhere back in the pack there was a movement. These cars don't need much movement from the back to turn them around. Plato went off, Collard went into the wall very hard, and somewhere in it all poor Jason Hughes had the front end of his car demolished as well. But so it'll be a full restart, but without those cars.
Today is proving to be an expensive day, isn't it? Jason Plato stays in his car, probably communicating with the team and hoping now that there's a red flag there may be a chance to get back out for the restart. Rob Collard, I don't think there's any chance for him. He hit the wall very hard. Let's take another look here.
See what happens at the front. Turkington gets away better than Turner, and then oh well, we don't see the start of it. We didn't see the start. Something turned Collard around, or Plato into Collard.
I think maybe Tom Chilton had a good start. It was difficult to see. There's Chilton. We're looking back there. Oh no, he'd already been hit. Wasn't Chilton involved. Chilton just managed to avoid it, I think. So Plato was alongside Jason Hughes on the grid. They were just behind Richard Marsh. Difficult to work out. We know Richard wasn't there. There was a gap in front of Jason Plato.
Watch Plato at the back on the right. Watch his yellow car. He and Hughes got together, sandwiched them between him and Mark Smith, and that fired the car around.
And Rob Collard just was a victim of that from slightly further ahead. It did look a little bit as though Jason Hughes tried to shut the door, didn't it?
Well, I mean, off the line, you know, you've got to watch the cars in front and aim where the gap is. It was only a small amount of movement. It was the fact that 3 cars were there and they pincered the car around in the middle, and that turned Plato around. It was an unavoidable accident. Usually happens on start lines which are very narrow. Not usually at Donington, I have to say. Places like Alton Park are more dangerous, but with a staggered grid as well and a fairly wide start line, that is unusual.
There is Rob Collard. It's been a pretty active day from his point of view. Fabrizio Giovanardi has brought his car to a stop, as has everybody else, and we're now wait for the clear-up operation. So down in the pits, and let's see if we can get a word with Rob Collard.
Rob, what do you reckon happened there?
Unfortunately, I don't know what really happened, if I'm honest. I didn't get a very clean start because
we've got a view here.
I couldn't see the lights, and I got away, and then I got hit, I think, by the Seat, and that was quite a hard shunt, I must admit, as I don't know what speed we're doing there, probably about 60, 70 miles an hour, and just got flicked sideways straight into the wall, and I'm going to have a stiff neck tomorrow, I think.
And what about the car?
The car looks quite badly damaged, if I'm honest. You know, it's a shame for Team RAC. Colin's doing a great job this weekend. He's had some good results, and my luck after race 2 was really bad, I must admit. It's just can't believe that what happened to me. You know, Matt took me out quite cleanly, quite obviously in my opinion, and nothing's being done at the moment.
It's been quite an eventful weekend for driving, hasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, the racing's very close this weekend. We had sort of 11 cars. I split by 7/10, I think, in qualifying, and it's so difficult to overtake. And you know, and that's the nature of this championship. It's very close, but you know, I got took off by Matt at Croft at 120 odd miles an hour. You know, it was very, very dangerous. Luckily, we carried on, and he's done exactly the same to me in race 2. I think certain things do need to be looked at by the clerk, and hopefully get some sort of fairness for everybody involved.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much indeed. I've now got Jason Hughes as well. Jason, you're a little, well, yeah, tell us about it.
Just set off, you know, off the line, got a really good clean start away, and you know, good away off the line, really good. And next thing, just as Mark Smith, I pulled out to overtake, and I just, it must have been placed. I don't know. I don't know as you see it, and hit the side of him. I run in the back of Smith, and I don't know what happened. I don't know where Rob went. I don't know if Rob was at the side of me or what. I don't know.
He went into the wall. So what about your car?
Well, it looks a bit worse for wear now, doesn't it?
Not brilliant.
Not good.
No.
So we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. Cool. Thanks very much indeed. And back to Angus.
Vicky, thanks very much indeed. Well, carnage out on the track. They have just begun to, behind that pit wall, you can just see they are going out. The mechanics are all going out onto the circuit. They've just started to weave their way past all the carnage. Plenty of repair work going on over the next few minutes. The race will not start until we're ready, until you're ready. So don't worry about a thing. We'll see you very soon. Much indeed, Vicky. So they're out on the circuit once again. Just 13 of the 18 will start round 18. No Plato, no Collard, no Smith. That's for starters. Ben will clear up. Who else is going to be there?
Well, let's hope they all get it clean this time. It certainly was a pretty dramatic start to race 3 here at Donington Park, but a number of cars are out of it, Tim.
Yes, unfortunately we've lost one of the crowd favourites. Jason Plato's not had a good weekend, put a big hole in his championship aspirations that were already slightly tenuous. We've obviously also lost Collard, we've also lost Jason Hughes. A real shame to the start of this 3rd race.
Yeah, but we still have a great race in prospect here, and let's hope that we get a clean getaway. Now we've got an opportunity to have a quick word perhaps with Mike Jordan. He's got the onboard radio here this weekend. He's just coming up to the corner that leads them onto the straight up at Coppice Corner. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Mike. This is Ben calling Mike. Mike, it's been a bit of a truncated 3rd race so far, but hopefully it'll all be clean now.
Yeah, I hope so. It's been one of those days, hasn't it? Sometimes you just get those days where everything goes on, but I don't know what happened there. But as we left the grid, there are actually two HP Racing air jack stands left on there, so somebody left those there, so presumably they'll have got those out of the way by now.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much, and we'll see how much progress he can make. Now, Mike Jordan, to remind you, he finished 3rd in race 2. That means he starts 7th on the grid for this one. There he is. And you could design a crash helmet for Mike Jordan. By the way, John Guest putting up a competition at the moment to design a crash helmet, the colours of a crash helmet that is, for Mike Jordan to use at Silverstone at the end of the year. So if you go to itv.com/touring cars, you can enter that competition. The cars have made it onto the grid then. Colin Turkington starting from 2nd place. Darren Turner will be starting from pole. Now, he didn't make a very good getaway first time around from pole position. Let's see what he can do this time. It's Sayat versus Team ROC MG, and then James Kay in the Honda behind them. Away we go. Better, but not enough. It's Turkington again who makes the better start, but Turner may just be able to fend him off a little bit. No, he can't, and James Kay's made a great start. He's popped up into second place. It's Colin Turkington leading, James Kay second, Turner now third, then Giovanardi trying to go around the outside of Owen Murray as they go through Redgate corner, in danger of being squeezed out. Matt Neal slipping through on the inside there.
Yeah, a better start from Turner, but it still ended up with both Turkington and Kay getting through. And here comes Turner, back down the inside, and Matt Neal's up the inside too. They both run wide. Matt Neal's going to be through to third. Unbelievable.
Third, or is it second? I think it's second. He's got up past it, and yeah, Colin Turkington's in the lead. Look at them all trying to sort themselves out. But that's remarkable. Matt Neal's taking huge advantage. Gordon Shedden, the second of the Team Halfords cars, apparently jumped the start. He has got a drive-through penalty. Gordon Shedden, who won the early two races, is now got a drive-through penalty, but it's Colin Turkington who leads.
Look how hard Turkington's pushing on this opening lap. He's really trying hard, so no chance of Shedden three-peating and repeating Dan Eves' performance at Thruxton. But Matt Neal, he went down the inside in a mirror image of his first start here on the first attempt at this third race, and got a run out of Redgate and slipped through all the way through to second as the others ran away.
So across the line they come. Turkington with a big advantage on the first lap. Matt Neal in second, but under pressure from who? From Owen Murray. Owen Murray, the young Irish driver, in only his second touring car event in this car that has raced in World Touring Cars, European Touring Cars in the past, is showing brilliantly well. There he is in third. Behind him is Giovanardi, who in the past has driven cars just like that on the world scene. Behind them is Turner, then Shedden, who's got a drive-through penalty. Remember, James Kay under threat from Shedden, and also in there is Gavin Smith just hitting the grass a bit at Old Hairpin.
Yeah, that was very close there at the moment. I don't know if Shedden knows he's got a penalty. Certainly James Kay doesn't know he's got a penalty. Look at the pressure that Jordan's coming under there from the third of the Vauxhalls. That's Chilton all the way from the back.
Yeah, Tom Chilton, remember, starting at the back after an accident in race 2 put him out. Jordan now defending busily as they come up towards Coppice corner. And Chilton, yeah, there we are, on board with Mike Jordan. He's got Gavin Smith ahead of him, but he's got the other Vauxhall of Tom Chilton filling his mirrors as well. So that's why he's covering the inside here.
He is. He didn't lose much time to Smith coming through there, despite the tight line. He's now back over on the normal racing line, so he should have, well, no, he's had to defend. Is he going to have a go at Smith? Now, was that defending or was that having a go at Smith? Because Smith's got held up. Jordan's got a run, he's on the grass.
He's on the grass all the way down the pit straight virtually, and Shedden spinning and coming into the pits for his drive-through. I don't know what happened in the background. There's Mike Jordan. Oh, he's braked too late. Loses the place back to Gavin Smith and goes wide.
And Pinkney on the inside. Pinkney's got on the inside of Smith. No, he's got through past Jordan, but he's in the middle of a 888 sandwich there, David Pinkney.
Well, what racing. They were all over the place there. Mike Jordan was the one who lost out, but it's Gavin Smith still holding on to position.
Yeah, I tell you what happened there. I think that Shedden slowed coming out of the chicane to pull into the pits for his drive-through penalty, and the others just fell over the back of him, and that's what put Jordan out onto the grass.
Yeah, could well be. That Jordan now catching up to the back of Chilton again, who likewise is trying to get past Dave Pinkney. Pinkney in that characteristic black and pink coloured car. He loves his racing. He's got a chance to shine here, and he will be tough to pass. There's no doubt about it. One of the oldest driver, well, the oldest driver in the series, Dave Pinkney, up against one of the youngest, 21-year-old Tom Chilton. Let's see whether he's going to be able to find a way through. Up in the lead of this race is still Colin Turkington with a 2.5-second advantage. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, Shedden was pulling to the left to get in the pit lane, and the others got tagged him because they didn't know what he was doing. That's one of the difficulties of trying to get into the pits for a drive-through without anyone knowing.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what Shedden was trying to achieve. So Matt Neal is in second place. There's Turkington. The gap back to Matt Neal in second, then Owen Murray in third, Giovanardi in fourth, Turner in the Seat in fifth, James Kay is then sixth, ahead of Gavin Smith in seventh, then Dave Pinkney eighth, Tom Chilton ninth, Mike Jordan in 10th place. That's the battle you're looking for, just at the bottom end of the top 10. We've still got Martin Bell running, and of course Gordon Shedden has now been into the pits and has cars come back out. And then, by the way, just to add a little bit more drama, there's some rain around.
Yeah, just a little bit of rain on the windscreen at the moment. It's what we call psychological rain. It's just on the screen, but it's not enough to even put your wipers on yet, so it won't be enough to slow them down. But this is a great battle between the youngsters and the old boys. You've got Smith and Chilton, the youngsters in their Works Vauxhalls, battling against the two old boys. Pinckney trying to get up the inside, and Jordan, 54 years old Pinckney, 49 years old Mike Jordan. What great racing this is. And Pinckney right in the middle.
He doesn't know which way to go. He doesn't know. Oh, they make contact at 140 miles an hour down the straight. Now they're going to be on the brakes. Pinckney trying to squeeze ahead. Mike Jordan saying, oh, I'm going to wait to see what happens here. And Pinckney's right across the grass. And how did he not drive? And out wide goes Chilton. Chilton on the grass. My goodness, they're all over the place.
Well, if this was a battle for the lead, it couldn't be any better. And here comes Jordan diving up the inside as well.
So, once again, the two Vauxhalls versus the two privateer Honda Integras. These two Hondas were bought from Team Dynamics. They were the cars that Matt Neal and Dan Eves were using last year, and they're right in the mix. They're racing at the moment, though, for 7th position. And there's a little bit more rain, apparently, on some parts of the circuit. Just watch for the cars maybe making little mistakes, running a bit wide.
Now, these cars, when the rain does start to come, they're OK whilst they've got heat in their slick tyres, but as soon as that rain becomes anything more than a drizzle, and I can see umbrellas going up now and people rushing for cover, so the rain is probably going to be fairly heavy, then all of a sudden they're going to lose their grip at the rear. Can already see cars sliding around. A little bit of oversteer for Smith there turning in.
So, more drama indeed with change of conditions. Look at Darren Turner attacking Giovanardi, and that is for 4th position. Race leader Turkington. There's Matt Neal second. Third, Owen Murray runs a little wide.
Yeah.
And very wide goes Darren Turner.
They're all losing grip. They're all losing grip. It's very hard here to every lap the conditions are changing. They're getting harder and harder. This is where experience is going to count. Turkington's experience, Matt Neal's experience. That's why they're pulling away just a little bit from Murray and Giovanardi. Well, he's got plenty of experience and he likes the car control, so let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, he might enjoy these changing conditions.
Oh!
Murray's got it wrong.
He could collect the other car.
Oh, Giovanardi just slowed down enough there. This is going to go... Oof, I thought it was going to go right out to the tyre.
Well, the gravel trap did a fabulous job there. And that was a classic front-wheel drive car, just losing it in slightly iffy conditions. He had a little bit of wet through the Craner curves there. Watch this. He comes through the Craners. He just gets a little wiggle on there. That steps the car out wide, and then he's a passenger on the grass. And fortunately, the gravel did its job. But front-wheel drive car, slightly slippery track. Bang, he was gone.
And Giovanardi was hard on the brakes. You could see the front wheel lock up as he tried to stay out of trouble here. Now, battle for 7th place here. We've still got Gavin Smith versus David Pinckney, Vauxhall versus Privateer Honda, and then the gap back to another similar battle behind them. I think we're going to see the safety car out. Yep, it's been called.
It's out.
Yep, the safety car on circuit.
Well, that's a real blow for Colin Turkington because he built up a really good lead. Look at that. He'd worked so hard. Well, he looks cool enough in the car, but he'll be really disappointed. The last thing he wanted was to lose that lead, to have Matt Neal back on his tail. These two championship protagonists in reverse order here because Neal's leading the championship, but Turkington was looking very good there for a while.
Yeah, absolutely where he needs to be. There's his team boss, Dick Bennett, always with pen in hand, making notes, and very much the scientist when it comes to setting these cars up and analysing every detail of every race. Well, Turkington is the man in the lead at the moment. 2nd place is Matt Neal. Giovanardi in 3rd place as they came across the line there, just ahead of Darren Turner. James Kay in 5th, then Gavin Smith in that lead of that next group that were dicing so hard. It was Gavin Smith, David Pinckney, Tom Chilton and Mike Jordan, and then Gordon Shedden, who is running in 10th despite his earlier pit stop.
Yeah, Dick Bennett's the West Surrey boss. He used to run Ayrton Senna in Formula 3 and is legendary in the paddock for the longest debriefs in the pit lane.
So up over the hill, the lights flashing on the safety car as everybody just weaves around. Now the rain doesn't look too serious. Maybe we can find out how bad it is. Let's have a word with Mike Jordan. Ben calling Mike. Mike, it's a bit tricky out there. How much rain have you got out there at the moment?
There was suddenly quite a bit at the bottom of the old airport there. I think that's where Murray had gone off, and I just turned in and understeered straight off, and I think some Pinckney did as well. So it's hard to say, Ben. You don't want to put your wipers on because the screen's filthy, so you're just trying to judge whether it's psychological rain or definitely old hairpin that's using up and down. But,
Great, well, let's hope it doesn't get any wetter for you. As you said, he referred to the psychological rain there, Tim, exactly what you mentioned.
Well, I've obviously just aged myself by, it's obviously an old person's referral, and I've obviously aged myself to Mike's age, but he's doing a fantastic job out there, all the John guests up here as well. He's doing a good job, but it has abated, the rain has abated, the drivers will be happy with that. Mike alluded to the fact you don't really want to put your wipers on until the rain is really bad, because with all the oil and grease on it, it just smears. So the drivers tend to use a product called Rain-X. Well, there's a view from the camera on board. You can see all the muck, because of course everyone's going across the dirt at the chicane. It's all thrown up on the screen. The drivers tend to use a product that allows the water to bead up and run off the screen, and so they don't put their wipers on until quite late. But look at that there, at that point of the circuit, it's quite a lot. There's none in front of us here on the start-finish line, but at points there are.
Yes, that's right. So it really is tricky around this just under 2 mile long circuit. We've got places that are bone dry and other places where we've got a fair bit of rain falling. So very tricky conditions. Now, of course, they are allowed to change tyres during a race. We've never seen it since the current rules came in, that we've had a race that started dry and then went wet, and it's certainly an advantage to cars built to British touring car spec, but whether we get into tyre change situations, I'm not too sure. We're already halfway through this race.
Well, it would be, you don't forget, if you change tyres under the safety car condition, you could get back out and onto the back of the Crocodile. So someone at the back of the grid could actually make a chance. But let's hear a view from the pit lane. We've got Vicky down with Dick Bennett.
Dick, has Colin said anything to you about conditions out there?
So I couldn't quite catch that.
Has Colin said much about the conditions out there?
No, he hasn't come on the radio at all as yet.
Is that good or bad?
He doesn't let us know much. He's quite, keeps things to himself, but he'll just get his head down, and unfortunately with the safety car coming out, we've lost that margin of a gap we had.
Yeah, how much of a problem is that for you, do you think?
Not sure whether Matt wasn't pushing hard, but Colin was actually pulling away a tenth or two a lap up till the safety car, so we'll just have to wait and see now which car's good on damp settings, that sort of stuff.
And what's your forecast for the rest of this race, weather-wise?
Well, can you ever trust what the forecast people tell you? So, I don't know. We're hoping it would ease off, but it's starting to get heavier, so it'll have to be reasonably wet to come in and put wets on. So we'll probably just hang out there and see what happens.
We've had some cracking antics throughout the day. What's your take on it all?
I'll save that for later.
Would you rather have some nice quiet races and wins all round?
Yeah, it's just that some people seem to be getting away with things which, okay, there's still some judicial work to be done after race 3 because of race 2, but it just, from what I was observing, and I can't observe everything, but different feedback I'm getting from other drivers that it's just, something has to change soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Dick. Okay, back to Ben.
So teams in the pit lane are certainly making preparations just in case they should put wet tyres on. They're getting them pressured up, but whether we'll see changes or not, I'm not too sure.
Well, the lights are off, so the safety car will be in next lap. It's going to be very tricky on the restart. I saw David Pinkney actually slide off the track down here at Redgate on the last lap behind the safety car. It's going to be very difficult. On the restart, they'll be barreling into there. Then they come across the start-finish line, it's dry. When they get down there, it's raining in the braking area, so it's going to be very tricky. But somebody gambling could have come in and put wet tyres on and got on the back of this group on wet tyres, and that's what I would have done.
I'm really surprised that nobody went for it, actually. Somebody at the back of that line, it would have been so worthwhile. Just a gamble, you might not work, but if you're running 10th anyway, why not go for it? Gordon Shedden would have been the guy to do it. He's running 10th.
Yeah, look at them sliding there, and this is not under race control. They're struggling to stay on the track. That's Mike Jordan just oversteered off the track.
Yeah.
We're not even back to racing yet. And a car on slicks. This is Redgate earlier. Oh, that's the rear-wheel drive car, Martin Bell. Was he just playing, or was he got caught? But I mean, it would be easy to get in there, get some wets on, and get on the back of the grid.
So let's just see what's going to happen here now. The new race distance is 17 laps. 9 laps have been completed of those. So we're just under half distance, and this first lap is going to be so difficult. Dry section here, but when they get down to the bottom end of the circuit, it's wet. Safety car comes into the pits, and we're racing once again, and it's Colin Turkington who leads them. from Matt Neal in second place, Giovanardi in third, and this is where car control, sensitivity and great care is going to be at a premium.
Stand by for fireworks.
Yeah.
Stand by for... Look at that, that's almost pedestrians. I tell you, you could drive quicker in these conditions in a road car than a race car on slicks. And now we're coming to the fastest part of the track that's hard enough in the dry, let alone in the wet on slicks. Here we go. When you turn left here, it's oh so tricky.
And Matt Neal is challenging for the lead. Turkington, in a way, is the most difficult. Oh, he's gone sideways.
They've all gone.
They're all
the first
sideways.
three, all nearly off.
Brilliant car control from Turkington and from Matt Neal. Giovanardi backed off to try and see if he was going to avoid an accident. But great car control from the two front men.
Yeah, the track is a little bit drier up this section, but they'll have no heat in the tyres. Matt Neal's really struggling. Giovanardi's got inside.
Here comes the Italian. The Italian up the inside of Matt Neal, and I think this is a great chance for him to nip through in the cockpits. Yes, he does. Uses the curve. Gavin Smith also taking advantage of all this to go around the outside of James Kay. It's so tricky. You can be really aggressive on the dry sections, but look, the windscreen wipers are going now as they come into the chicane.
Yeah, and he's got no one in front of him, so it shows you it's quite difficult for the leader. Oh, he's gone straight on. Giovanardi's gone straight on the brakes.
And Turkington sideways, but he's got it back on. Giovanardi's come back on the track, but he's lost several places as a result. Out wide goes Gordon Shedden. Shedden right onto the grass there, and bits of bodywork coming off as Dave Pinkney recovers.
There is so much action in this. There's someone else recovering, that's Pinkney at the back. But these cars are so difficult. They're front-wheel drive, all apart from the BMW. You've no real control of that left rear. Once it gets cold and wet, it's just going to slide.
But Turkey, look at the rain coming down there at the old hairpin. This is where we saw so many slides on the first lap of the restart. Turkington managed to save it. So tricky, and if you get on the curve, it's even worse.
Oh, Matt Neal's gone off. Giovanardi's gone off and saved it. Matt Neal, is he going to keep going? Is this going to be another retirement? No, I don't believe it. He's still kept it going.
That's incredible. Matt Neal keeps his foot in. He's still going. He's dragged it through the gravel. He's back on the grass. And I think he's going to be back on the tarmac as well. The team can't even believe it.
That's Team RAC. The reason they're happy is because their biggest competitor has just slid off. Jordan's in the gravel as well. Well, I mean, he's just outbraked himself there. And one of the problems is, oh, there's contact with Darren Turner.
Darren Turner and Gavin Smith getting it together. It's just wherever you look, and the safety car's on track again. The safety car is going to be back on track once again. And they're going to have to sort themselves out, but remember, they're racing to the line. They're racing to the line, and then they will settle down behind the safety car, and it's Turkington who leads across the line. Neal has dropped back a little bit now, so Turkington leads from Giovanardi. Matt Neal has dropped back down the order. So Shedden is now third, Turner is up to fourth, Kay is fifth, Chilton sixth, Smith is now in seventh, and finally Neal comes through in eighth.
Yeah, this topsy-turvy championship, this topsy-turvy race takes yet another course. Poor Colin Turkington, who's actually built up a lead twice, is going to be so disappointed. This is the look ahead. Matt Neal goes straight off. Giovanardi almost follows him, and that's Tom Chilton. He's gone off as well. It's so difficult down there. And one of the things these drivers have got to do is when it's wet in their front-wheel drive car, contact there between the two VXR teammates. One thing they've got to do is wind the brake balance back to the rear, because otherwise you just can't stop the car. On board with Matt Neal, too deep, onto the painted curb and then straight off. But he manages to keep the car going. And now with another safety car, he's going to close up onto the back of the field. The field's already depleted. Matt Neal, who's finished every race bar one out of the last 46, you know, an incredible record.
And there is Mike Jordan's car, waiting for him to be towed out. Now we should have this on board. Let's see how it happened for Mike Jordan. How did it go wrong for him, Tim?
Again, braking downhill, losing the rear end, just comes round sideways and it just stops on the edge of the track. So he's in the gravel, but just on the edge of the track in the most dangerous place with all the action that's gone off there. But they can pull this out of the way very quickly. I think one more lap and then they'll be in.
And of course, you go in sideways like that and it does dig itself into the gravel, whereas Matt went off pretty straight, so he didn't dig in, he just managed to float across the surface.
Yeah, so here we go. We've got Turkington, who's done all the hard work. He's led the pace. He's had to find out what the conditions are like, doing a fantastic job in his Team RAC car.
Well, let's see what Turkington is going to manage. See if he holds off from Giovanardi. It is now the Vauxhall of Fabrizio Giovanardi who is in second place. And remember that Gordon Shedden is now in third, the man who had a drive-through penalty earlier in this race for a jump start. He's now third. He won the first 2 races of the day here. It's still possible that Gordon Shedden could make all 3 race wins today.
Yeah, the weight that he's carrying won't make any difference at all in these conditions. It really won't. So he's got a chance after a drive-through penalty to win this race. Giovanardi his opportunity to win his first race for Vauxhall and VXR, and their first race for some 20-odd races, as you say, since last year at Knock Hill. So a fantastic, lots of people with a lot of opportunity to do things. Darren Turner, he's only in 4th place. He's got a chance. Neil trying to recover something out of it points-wise. Well, I think he'll get something because the field's getting depleted. But, well, the trick conditions are still very difficult.
Indeed. Well, let's see how it's going to be. Mike Jordan's car is being pulled out of the way, along with Owen Murray's car there. Great shame that Owen went off because he was running third early on in this race, the youngster, and showing great pace, good maturity as well. But unfortunately, these conditions are too difficult for even some of the most experienced touring car drivers. A very, very depleted field. Remarkable. We've only got the 10 cars out of the 18 that started. But whoever is still there are still battling for the win.
Yeah, and you can see on the dry parts of the track, like down the straight, they're weaving really hard to try and get some temperature back into those tyres. And on the dry part, they've got a chance to do it, but very, very hard. One more lap. The lights are out on the safety car. They'll be in next lap. They will work really, really hard.
Yeah, look how much they are weaving around. Turkington doing his utmost to keep that tyre temperature. The BMW has got problems. I think he can't even keep up with the Crocodile at the moment. So what the problem is, I'm not too sure. But Martin Bell's not having a good time.
Well, he's had a couple of spins. He's probably being a bit cautious. But the moment you let if you go too slowly, the tyre temperature drops off, and that compromises you even more. This is the wettest part of the track, down through Redgate, the Craners, and the old hairpin.
Yes, and safety car and windscreen wipers are on pretty much full time, although the other touring cars, it looks as though a few of them have just got them on occasionally, but not too much, and so maybe it's just eased off a touch. There we are on board with Colin Turkington, and what an opportunity it still is to close up in the points battle with Matt Neal. Remember, they came into this race 35 points the difference between the two of them. Matt Neal is now down in 8th position. Turkington is leading. Good opportunity here to really gain some points on the series leader. But Turkington's got to keep it together, and it's going to be a 2-lap sprint. That's all, a 2-lap sprint to the checkered flag to determine the outcome of this 3rd race of the day, with the lights well and truly out on the safety car. So all prepared for the 2-lap shootouts here. It's Turkington versus Giovanardi versus Shedden. Team RAC versus VX Racing versus Team Halfords. Who's it going to be? The Porsche heads into the pits, and we're racing for just 2 laps now. Still in difficult conditions. Turkington holding on, hoping to win again this year to keep the pressure on Matt Neal in the championship. But can he fend off Giovanardi? Good restart there from Turkington.
Very good restart. He has to judge it. He didn't really want to get out on the painted curbs. Their wheels spin up on that, but a good restart from him. This is the tricky section. So far, so good. But they'll be pushing a little bit harder now because they can see it's drying. But they're still got to be very careful. Giovanardi closing up a little bit down through the Craners.
Gordon Shedden still in 3rd place. We've got Darren Turner, James Kay in there. There's Tom Chilton as well. Then it's Gavin Smith. 3 Vauxhalls still in the race after their nightmare season. They've got a chance of really scoring some points and claiming back some points on Seat in the Manufacturers' Championship here, have Vauxhall. Just the one Seat still in the race. That is the car, of course, of Darren Turner. He's running in 4th on board with Giovanardi.
Giovanardi he's trying absolutely everything. Giovanardi is on maximum attack. He really, really wants to win a race for Vauxhall, his first race in Britain. This is a great opportunity, but Colin Turkington, fantastic under pressure so far. One more lap, and he can score another victory for RAC, who've got a big group of guests here today, and they would love it.
They would love it, but look at this down the inside. Chilton and his teammate Gavin Smith. Matt Neal trying to join in as well. Final lap we're on to now. Is Colin Turkington going to be able to hold on? After all of the events of the whole day, not just this final race, it's very close up front between Turkington and Giovanardi, and Turkington's run wide. Turkington puts it on the grass, gets back in front of Giovanardi, but the Vauxhall's alongside. It's side by side down the Craner curves. They make contact as they come through, and Giovanardi has taken the lead on the final lap of the race here at Donington, sideways through Old Hairpin. Turkington tries to fight back.
Turkington had just run wide. I don't know if there was contact up at Redgate, but he looks pretty fired up. We need to see what happened. Here we go, on board, up into McLean's. Is there an opportunity? No, Giovanardi blocks it. He knows this course quite well. Oh, good run from Turkington. Can he get inside? No, he can't. 2 more corners to go. Giovanardi, is he going to defend into Coppice? No. One more chance now.
Well, let's see what Turkington does now, because we're on to the main straight. There's one corner coming up. It's the chicane, and Giovanardi wants Vauxhall's 100th victory. They haven't won since Knockhill last year. Giovanardi could do it for Vauxhall. Here comes Turkington. Turkington down the inside, cuts across the chicane, straight across, both on the grass. Turkington has done it. Colin Turkington snatches the win through the last corner. A brilliant drive by Colin Turkington. He threw everything there, and Fabrizio Giovanardi and Gordon Shedden finishes in 3rd place, Turner in 4th, Gavin Smith in 5th place, ahead of Tom Chilton. But that is Mal, Tim, we know that Matt Neal lost his position last time. Will he be allowed that win?
I tell you that, unfortunately, I think that is going to be one that's going to run and run. I thought it was good racing. Turkington went for it. Let's see the action. We need to see a replay. I think we've got one coming up. But they both went across the grass. There was a little bit of contact, wasn't there, just in the braking zone, which is perhaps Turkington's only defence, because he can argue that forced him to go across the curb. Here we go.
Down the inside.
See, there's contact there, which is not Turkington's fault, because Giovanardi turns in a little bit early, and you know, I think that was a racing accident, but I'm afraid the way that racing is, it may well go before the stewards. This is a great opportunity, great lunge. Look, as he lunges, Giovanardi moves towards the corner. They both go across, and they both have cut the chicane, but I would like that result to stand. I thought that was great racing.
Brilliant racing, and Colin Turkington, let's take another look. This is from Giovanardi's car. There was the slight contact. Both of them end up onto grass, and both of them keep it straight and get across the line in that order. 1, 2, remarkable stuff. And Vauxhall denied again when it looked as though they were going to finally get their 100th win, and denied by the man who raced for Vauxhall last year. Colin Turkington was a Vauxhall driver last year. Now he drives for Team RAC, and he got the win on the last corner.
But why did Giovanardi leave the door open? He'd done all the hard work. He did a brilliant last lap, good overtake, aggressive overtake. He had literally, he could have driven around the inside of that chicane and he would have won it. And he left the door wide open. He will be kicking himself.
So there the result. Turkington the winner from Giovanardi, Shedden in 3rd, Turner in 4th, Gavin Smith finished 5th, ahead of Tom Chilton. Matt Neal finished in 7th place, James Kay 8th, ahead of David Pinkney in 9th, and Martin Bell, who soldiered on to finish 10th.